In the first month or months of starting a new marketing role, especially in leadership, I think the most important thing you can and should do is analyze the status quo and see what is there, what is not there, what does the content look like, is it on brand, is the content high quality, which channels are we active on, which channels are we not active on, and why, and then just analyze everything super in detail, including stuff like page speed or budgets on ads or analytics. Is it set up properly? Stuff like tone of voice, positioning, messaging. You have to take a look at everything and just see where you're lacking, where you're missing out on potential growth opportunities. Basically, take a look at everything, document the status quo. Especially as a marketer, it's really important to document where you're starting from, to check in later, like a year later or half a year later, to see how have these channels improved, or some of these channels that you decided to focus on, what has changed? Has the status quo improved since you started? That is also kind of a way to protect marketing, because you will have hardcore evidence that where you started is different from where you are now, and that you have contributed to this development. So super important to document when you start a new job where you are, before you start making plans for where you want to be, and before you change anything. With that said, keeping track of all the analysis that you've made and all of the recommendations that you want to make, and analyzing every channel, leads to a mountain of information. And my challenge when I started at Magier was documenting this information and keeping it all in one place, keeping it all findable, and keeping it all organized. And for that, of course, I love using Notion. So I've built a setup for myself that I'm going to share with you in this video. And also you get the free template that I'm going to show you right now in the description below. It's an in-depth master digital audit template that I learned to do when I did my master's in digital marketing strategy at Trinity College Dublin, and that has really saved me on multiple occasions from doing random stuff. And also it helped me know what to do when, what to prioritize. So I really recommend doing this digital audit before you start doing anything in marketing. Basically, start doing any tactics, start setting up any ads. Do this first. You can do a light version of this, just focus on the challenge that you have, focus on your own area. If you're, for example, in content, you can focus on content only. If you are, a leader, marketing leader, head of marketing, I would suggest you go through all channels, because you need to have an overview of what's working, what's not working, what the quality is like on every channel. Let's dive into the template now without me blabbering on. So I'm going to show my screen. This is what the template looks like. There are channels in the first column, like SEO, website content, website architecture, blog, social media channels, social listening, user experience, ads, analytics, branding, tone of voice. And I know branding and tone of voice, positioning, messaging is not a channel, but as you can see, like, this is a in-depth digital audit, and I decided it's easier to include it here, because while you are looking at SEO, while you are looking at website content, blog, social media, you will notice things and you need a way to document them. And I think it makes sense to have it all in one database in Notion, so you can store the information right away. So this is the first part of the template, the channels check. And then underneath that, we have recommendations and tasks for yourself. So while you're doing the audit, you can already note down, okay, we have, a broken link on this page. We have an off-brand image here. We need to rewrite this blog post. It sounds very low quality. Then, I don't know, there is some messed up formatting here. We need to properly size images. I noticed that we need to do that because I was looking at, our technical SEO tools. While you're doing the audit, you probably have lots of ideas of what you need to do, what you need to fix. So it's good to have a place where you can write it all down. And how it works is, let's say I want to start with analyzing SEO. There are some tools and tips here that you can check out to analyze your website with them, and then copy paste the recommendations also into this database. You can see here, I will estimate this takes about 3 to 4 hours to do. Sub-steps, you can check the meta titles, meta descriptions, export them from your website, see if they are optimized, and mention relevant keywords. check for duplicates using the tool called Screaming Frog. You can check the H1, H2, etc. tags, see if they are in the right order, if there are duplicates also there. That is bad for SEO, so you need to fix that in the future. Yeah, if you're mentioning relevant keywords, and the URL structures, kind of, are the URLs descriptive? Do they mention target keywords, etc.? You can also test the website in terms of page speed, and you can see here, I have broken down SEO into different SEO sub-steps, like page speed mobile, page speed desktop, technical SEO, and programmatic SEO, because having everything on one page would have been just too much. You need to divide this information into sub-steps or something, because otherwise you'll be overwhelmed with one super long page that is not very actionable. But while you are, for example, checking the technical SEO with tools like SSL checker, checking the robots text, or XML sitemap checker, while you're checking all of these things, you may want to add some recommendations, like I mentioned, or tasks for yourself. And for that, there is this button called recommendation. For technical SEO, for example, you may want to submit your sitemap to Google Search Console. And that is like a task for yourself or for your team member for the future. So you can just click plus recommendation and then create a page called submit sitemap, priority very high, and then responsible person. You can choose someone from your team or yourself, and then status up next. And it will appear in the recommendations and tasks section here. So let's delete this. So that is how it works. You can also add recommendations from here, programmatic SEO, create programmatic pages. Just brain dump all tasks and recommendations as they come, because later you might forget. And I think the best way to do this is while you're at it and while all the information is fresh in your mind. I'm so happy I did this when I started at Magier, because just a lot of the things I just had already 30 tasks for myself when I started, and then I could prioritize them with the ICE framework, impact, confidence, and ease, and then focus on the most impactful, important tasks first. So that is super helpful. And you can do the same with, for example, social media channels. Let's open that up. You can see, okay, things you can check are who is following you, what problem does the content solve, is the content talking to the right people that we want to actually have as customers, why would someone be interested in following this account. You can click on some of the profiles that are following you and see who they are. It's a lot of manual work, yes, but that will help you get this very in-depth but also big picture of what is happening in marketing, is it working, and why. So I highly recommend you do it. You can check all of the channels. You can add new channels here if relevant. If something is missing, you can always add or delete. This is a template. You can change it as you like. And yeah, same with ads or social listening platforms. You can check your reviews on Trustpilot, on Clutch, on G2, etc. Depending on if you're a B2B or B2C, of course, and many other factors. You can add or remove platforms. You can also rate each channel on a scale of 1 to 10 and add the rating here. And like I said, if you would like this template, you can get it in the description below. So yeah, document, then optimize. And I think this digital audit is super important. And also I'm aware this is a lot of sub-steps. This is a lot of channels you need to check. If you have a team, you can divide the responsibility. Like someone does content, someone checks in on ads, someone checks in on something else. If you are alone, you can of course do a light version where you just go through and write down everything that you notice from checking these channels. But of course, the more in depth, the more research you'll have and the more actions you can take to improve the situation and also build a marketing strategy. So it's up to you how deep or how light you keep it, but hopefully this template will help you have all the information in one place and build your strategy from there. So yeah, good luck. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below.